Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dialed podcast. My name is Nick McElhenney. This is my co-host, Anthony Beretta. And say
What's going
hi.
on, fam? How we doing today?
What up? All right. So in today's episode, we are actually going to be talking about red flags in a coach. And to start this off, I kind of wanted to tell a story from somebody that I actually just had you could call it a consult call with the other day. He came to me and he had been working with a coach for the past 6 months. And he told me at the very beginning of the 6 months, he told the coach, I want to do a bodybuilding show. I want to prep. I want to do a show at the end of these 6 months. And so the coach was like, yeah, like we can do that. I can get you set, blah, 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 blah. Well, 6 months go by. Now I'm on the phone with this guy. And the guy was pretty much kept at baseline the entire time. And then about 3 weeks before his next payment was due and the 6 months was up, that's when the coach decided to slash his calories and get a little bit of more movement on the scale. And then at the same time, the client was reaching out to the coach and he was saying, hey man, like I don't really know what's going on here. I told you I wanted to prep and I wanted to be on stage ready for X date because I've got a lot of responsibilities and things that I need to be at later this year, like weddings and his own wedding as well and things like that. Or the coach says, okay, cool. Well, let's just get your next payment in and then we can start getting you set up for prep. And the guy's like, what the heck? And so basically, if you haven't caught on, what this coach was doing the whole time was just stretching the timeline to milk more money out of him. And so stories like this are exactly why we want to kind of talk about red flag in a coach during this week's episode and kind of what to look for if you are interested in hiring a coach. You'll realize it's actually a lot harder to find a good coach than you think it is. And so we'll kind of give you our best 2 cents to guide you in the right direction of finding a good coach in today's episode. But first things first, we'll start this out. I'd say the first red flag is just a coach not having any transformations on their page, right? If you're a coach and specifically like an online coach going through social media, if you don't have at least one before and after picture from a client in swiping distance on your page, I don't know what you're doing. And specifically, if you are the client talking to the coach, if you don't see any transformations, then they've coached for the last 2 years, ask them, and they don't have like a single client result, ask them why. That might give you a little bit of the answer there. In the same category too, I'd say it's these types of people that only post their physique and then put one-on-one coaching in the description, right? Being in shape and being able to get other people into shape are two completely different things. So if you are, say, for example, I see this a lot with influencers, right? An influencer can post all that they want about their physique or maybe even just a couple of things that they're eating throughout their day. That does not mean that they're going to be a good coach. And so many people think that it's the same exact thing when in reality, you apply for their coaching and then buy into their course and it's just a bunch of crap from ChatGPT all thrown together and then you just got scammed out of $1,500. So yeah, Ant, what do you think what would you say another red flag in coaching is?
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of going a little bit back to your take on the no transformations on their page. I think that one's huge, right? Like I buy based off what I see about like not only like the coach's transformations, but how the coach is actually communicating with their client itself. Seeing like any videos that they have, like how often do they post photos with their clients? If it's like regular, if it's often, like that'll kind of dictate whether or not it's like a green, yellow, or red flag. I think yellow is like a majority of coaches, and then you put them into a category of either they're a red flag or a green flag, in my personal take. So, having different factors in there, like no transformations, no mention of nutrition before you join, which is going to be huge. So I think on like the onboarding call, like that's when I get like a really good idea of like where we're going to be at, how long you should have in the program. If the coach isn't asking any of those questions and he's just like, yeah, we'll do like so you have like 40 pounds to lose. Like, yeah, we could do like a 3-month term, paid in full. And like, it's just like unrealistic expectations for that client. I think that one's a huge red flag. So it's like, honestly, a majority of prep should be anywhere from 16 to 20 weeks. For females, probably a little bit longer too. And if you have a lot of weight to lose and your coach is telling you, yeah, you can make the show in like 2 months, probably lying to you. So I think setting unrealistic expectations would be next up on the list.
No, definitely. And even for like lifestyle clients too. Like if you're talking to a coach and they don't give you like a set goal, if you're just like, yeah, I'll give you a meal plan, I'll give you a training plan, and it's $300 a month. You need a long term goal, right? If they're not thinking about that, they're not going to be a good coach for you. So yeah, and then circling back to, I wanted to add to the point of no transformations on your page. Another thing that I see every now and then too is coaches that don't have any transformations, but they're very heavy on the marketing side of things, talking about, oh, you need to do this because X, Y, and Z, and their page looks really great, looks super professional. They've got content that kind of speaks to exactly the type of person they're selling to, but they don't have any actual evidence to back it up that they've had success with other people in the past, right? Biggest thing that I look for is just the transformations. But yeah, kind of what you were saying with Ant, with like unrealistic expectations too. There's a lot of people that will just kind of take advantage for you, especially like of you, like especially if you're like lifestyle, for example. I was reading Reddit before this, trying to make an outline and pull some ideas for this episode. And one of the things that somebody said on Reddit is they hired a coach, and the coach's big sell was like, "Oh, we're going to lose 30 pounds in 30 days." And they just starved the client for 30 days, cut a little bit of water, and they got down to 30 pounds. And then or they got down to 30 pounds, took the before and after pictures, and then all of it came back and then more right afterwards. So things like that, keep an eye out for. There's no quote unquote guaranteed results. If anybody tells you that they can get you guaranteed results, they're lying. That's honestly a red flag if somebody says guaranteed results. So yeah. And then also just circling back to what the story at the very beginning, like everything being an upsell and coaches that are just money hungry, right? Like I would definitely, well, first of all, you mentioned onboarding call, and if there is no call or there is no talk of the call, or they just send you like a payment link in the DMs, I would honestly say that's a little bit of a red flag too. There are some coaches that are successful only selling through DMs, but like talk to a real person, right? You want to work with a person. You want to work with a coach, not a business, me personally, right?
Yeah,
So
110%. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. If put it this way, if I'm trying to hire a coach and I'm asking a few questions and then I see like a little bit down the DMs, he just starts to send over a payment link. He's like, yeah, man, if you want to get started, we can get you started tomorrow. Here's the link and here's how we get set up. And it's like, bro, we haven't even talked over the phone, and it's like they're rushing to make the sale and you already know that's going to be like hell on earth. And I've had that happen to a few people.
yeah. Just like that guy that I told at the very beginning of the story, like he just he's kept expanding the timeline for this dude's bodybuilding show, not because he needed more time, but because the coach just wanted to milk more money out of him. And people will take advantage of you like that. Like I said, I'd say there's more bad coaches out there than good coaches, unfortunately. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, everything being an upsell, coaches that are just money hungry. Like if you have to purchase an add-on for a meal plan, I would run. Like
I'm
your
for
entire program should be centered around a meal plan. It's not an add-on, bro. It's the main pillar.
yeah.
So
I think one more thing too, man. I gotta talk about this because apparently this is pretty big in the industry right now, which is coaches don't give meal plans either, and some people are paying like $400 a month for like not even being able to get a meal plan. That's like
what?
insane.
Yeah. What are you
Like
paying for
just
at that
getting
point?
macros. Like what? I don't know. I think that's wild.
No, yeah, I would never I would not spend $400 a month and not get a meal plan. Like that's the bread and butter, man.
Yeah, well, like
So,
if you want macros, then that's cool. But like the option of only doing a meal plan at like $600 a month is absolutely wild. Like, I don't know. I think that's insane. That's
yeah.
more than a red flag in my opinion.
And this might be a little bit of a hot take, but like I feel like most people that think that they know how to track macros don't, especially when it comes to like food, types of food to eat, how to track it accurately, like meal timing, you know, factoring, not just hitting the macro goal, but the designated amount of macros that you need to be hitting per meal per day, right? Like we've talked about this millions of times before in the podcast, but like, low fat, high carb meals for your pre-workout and your post-workout, eating more than 2 meals a day, things like that. Like you could eat 2 meals a day and hit your macros, but that's not going to be optimal.
Mhm. Yeah, I
So
think like the whole point of this podcast episode is to really reiterate, like, look at, I don't know, like it's almost like you want to do your due diligence before you sign the check. right? It's like you want to be able to look at what this coach is giving you, this new potential coach, and be like, is this worth my money? Right? Like, is this guy have his best intentions forward, right? So that's I think the whole point of this podcast is like thinking about those things before you sign the dotted line, right? Because there's a lot of guys, Nick, I'm sure you know about this. They're locked into contracts for 6, 8, 12 months and they want to get out. What's your take on that?
I think that's awful. And there's a big reason, like, that's a big reason why I'm hesitant to push contacts or contracts with my guys. I've been in that bind before with not just coaches, but also just like mentorships and things like that. Like they sell you this golden apple, right? Or say you're trying to, let's take a business mentorship, for example, right? Say you have a business mentor that's saying like, okay, I'm going to help you add $5,000 a month to your business, but in turn, you got to pay me $10,000 a month. Right. And then you get into their program and it's just a bunch of BS that you already knew. And then you're locked into a contract for 3 months paying this dude. And you're like, what the heck? Like, this is like, and now I'm locked in and I got to keep paying this for 3 months. This is stupid. Same thing falls into coaching. Like I've seen so many guys get screwed over doing that. Like they end up signing a contract to work with a crappy coach and then they're locked in paying monthly payments to them for 4, 6, sometimes even like 12 months. And you're locked into a contract and you're screwed. And I don't want anybody to like for me with my guys, like I don't want anybody to feel like they're stuck. Right. Like I want them to stay with me because they're getting results and we work well together, not because they're locked into a contract.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. It's like it's almost like, well, I'm doing the same thing with my business too, right? It's like for everyone like signing up, I prefer honestly month to month because like, yeah, I have a 3 month minimum, but after that you can cancel any time that you want. And I trust in myself enough as a coach to be able to earn that check. Right. So it's like I'm earning it every single month. And if you leave, I mean, that it's like maybe A, you reached your goal, or B, I did a bad job. And if I did a bad job, I'll learn from it. And then I don't even deserve to have you as a client. Right. If I really like messed up. So that's like my personal approach is like, I know and I believe in myself enough to where like I can coach you month to month. And if you do decide to cancel, like, hey, no bad blood. That's it. Right.
exactly.
So I don't know. I think, dude, especially like a 12-month like contract too. It's like,
Ain't it?
that's wild. That's
Yeah. Do you have any, I guess I can tell a horror story from a coach that I actually had contract wise, right? So I reached out to this one coach at one point, a super big dude in the bodybuilding industry. He's got a lot of like followers on YouTube, more of like an influencer coach than anything. And he posted on his story at one point and was like, I've got a couple of spots left on my roster this season. Message me if you're interested. And I was like, okay, fuck, man. Like, I give it a shot. I look up to this dude. I've learned a lot through watching his videos. So I messaged him and I was like, hey, man, I was just wondering, like, do you have any spots left on your roster? And he was like, yeah. And we started talking. Communication was honestly pretty solid. But then I end up going through with it, buying coaching with him. And I think that it's this limited spot coaching program since he said he only takes a limited amount of clients. And then immediately after buying, I'm thrown into a WhatsApp group of 300 different people and I'm given like a cookie cutter meal plan. And I was like, dude. And then I signed a contract. I think it was 6 months. And I was like, I messaged him and I was like, listen, dude, like this just wasn't what I was expecting. We've only been working together. I know you just gave me my meal plan, but we've only been working together for like 2 weeks now. Is it cool if we just like split part ways? And he's like, well, I mean, yeah, if you'll just have to buy out the rest of your contract. And I was like, dude, you got to be kidding me. Like you gave me a cookie cutter plan. You gave this idea that this was some sort of limited focus coaching program and I'm thrown in here with 300 other people. Like do you even know my name? Do you even know what I look like? Or am I just a number to you? And yeah, I ended up talking that through with him. I ended up paying, I think, like 2 out of like the 6 months, and yeah, in when I only worked with him for like 2 weeks. So
how'd you
that
know it was
sucked.
cookie cutter?
Do what?
How'd you know it was cookie cutter? This could probably help someone else out too.
It just wasn't customized to me. There was like a couple of things. He gave me an intake. Actually, I gave him like very specific things, and we can get into this, I guess. So I was running like a PED protocol, right? And I was very specific when I was talking to him, I was like, listen, like I've kind of been like not so happy with PED protocols in the past. And I brought those concerns up to him and I was like, I would like to do things this way. And he was like, okay, cool, I can do that. And then sends me the PED protocol and it's literally just cookie cutter. He listened to nothing that I said and nothing was implemented into the plan. That was the biggest red flag for me, honestly,
Damn.
especially when it comes to things like PED usage.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, this is not somebody that I want to be messing with. Like, obviously, he doesn't have my best at heart here. And yeah. So what about you? Do you have any horror stories from previous coaches?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the biggest red flag I would say with myself comes down to communication. I think that one is key, and I think that's why like I do so well with it because I do get like I got messed over so many times. Like one of my clients told me, because I coach a lot of guys and it's like he feels like he's the only client that I have. And like, that's what it should feel like, right? It honestly should not feel like it should take 4 or 5 business days just to get back to you, right? It should be that day. If not that day, then the next day, unless like you're on vacation, like you tell them in advance, like, hey, I'm going to be gone for X amount of time. Like you need to like let these people know because a lot of these guys and girls, they sign up for a timeline. They sign up for a small period of time that they're with you for. And I want to make that the best time that they've ever had. The best communication, the most honesty, like everything. And if I'm responding to them like once a week, like that ain't right. Right. That is full advantage. That's taking advantage of people, especially like newcomers in the industry. It's like, cause I had a new client who just signed up and he was telling me like how his coach would only respond once a week through email. He would get like a Google Doc sheet and it was just like copy and paste. And it was just like one straight meal plan on like the foods that he just didn't enjoy. And the coach would not swap it up like whatsoever. And then he came on board with me and then I gave him my meal plan. I gave him the training app, the whole nine, how customized I make it for them. And he was like, dude, what? Like he was mind blown, right? And like that's the impact that I want to have is like an superb like experience for these guys. So I got messed up with communication when I was just starting out. My coach at the time, he would only respond to me via email and ask me 2 questions. What's my weight this week? What's my weight last week? And how am I feeling? Like those are like the 2, 3 questions, I guess. Weight last week, current weight, and then how are you feeling? Like what? Like there's like literally nothing on sleep,
Just
digestion,
so, yeah,
appetite. It's like nothing.
sorry. That's what I was going to ask is like, just so everybody knows, like what other questions should they be asking?
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean, you got sleep, you got digestion, you got the biggest one, program compliance. Like, how compliant were you with the program? I think I talked about appetite, sleep, digestion. There's so many, like, if you're on PEDs, like, how are you feeling in that aspect? Like, there's so many different questions that should be played a role into your check-in form, like step count, like the whole nine, like how fatigued are you, stuff like that, right?
You didn't even give
If
him
you're
like, he didn't even ask for like steps or anything.
no, literally nothing. Like, how are you feeling? It's like, what? And then ask for like just a set of progress photos on the front and then back. And then that was it. And I was like,
That's a prep coach.
yeah, prep coach. And I mean, yeah, I was taken back and like a lot of people get taken advantage of. I mean, I'm going to say a story about my girlfriend here, which is the day of the show. I mean, her coach didn't even remember her name. He called her a different name the day of the show and like just did not show up for her. You want to know who actually showed up was one of our family members showed up and he did a bodybuilding show. He did a few bodybuilding shows in the past and he was like, you know what, fuck it. So like he hopped in and he helped us out and I'm like, all right, well, clearly that was a bad choice making that decision. So yeah.
That's great. Like you didn't even remember her name.
Yeah, I called her Chloe. Yeah, the day of the show. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's
Yeah.
awful. That's so
Yeah.
bad. Well, he wasn't there
Mhm.
in person, right? It was just
Yeah, in person. He was there, everything, yeah. And then one more with communication being a red flag. If your coach and they're not at your show, if your coach does not call you the day of the show, exclude that, like get out. That is beyond ridiculous in my opinion. Doesn't matter how seasoned that person is as a client. Like if you're not calling them the day of the show or like the day before the show, dude, I called one of my clients 5 times the day, well, actually like 6 times the day before the show. And then the day of the show, I checked in with him every single hour. And you don't have to be like that, but like to a certain extent, you kind of do, right? Got to be a doctor, you got to be a therapist, you got to be a bunch of different things for these guys just to give them that ultimate experience. So,
definitely, definitely. Yeah. I guess another thing that we can talk about too is just not making, I think you talked about this, getting like check-in and feedback and adjustments made in like an adequate amount of time. Did you talk about that?
No, I didn't. I had talked about communication, just talking, not
Yeah, but
agenda.
not in depth. I mean, honestly, like I would say if your coach doesn't get back to you the same day, maybe the next day to your check-ins, like drop. Like if he or she is taking like 3 to like maybe a week to respond to your check-ins, like get out of there. Like my girlfriend's old coach, like she would submit check-ins on think like Tuesday, and he wouldn't get back to her check-ins until like Friday, like halfway through the week. And I'm just like, buddy, like, I don't even know how do you, like, so many things can change in that time span. And he was also another coach. Like, I can talk about her. Like his coach or her coach, he just gave her macros. He did not give her a meal plan. I just gave her set macros and she had to update that to a Google Sheet once a week. He asked no questions at all. She just had to submit pictures, tell him what she just had to submit pictures, tell him what she ate, like macro wise, the amount of days that she did cardio, and like that was it. No, nothing else was cared about. So yeah, she ended up
That's
leaving
crazy.
him.
That is
So
insane. Yeah, I think communication is huge, and like the day of check-in is also huge too, because like you said, things vary from day to day, right? Like I'm not going to feel the same on Monday that I am on Friday. So like that varying difference can play a huge role. Like, dude, sometimes like I don't know about you, but sometimes I check in with some of my guys 4 times, if not sometimes. This sounds kind of crazy, but 6 times a week just to make sure that they're doing okay. And it may not be an actual like check-in form, but like I'm looking at their program, I'm doing a review, maybe asking a few questions, but like I'm gonna be on you about it, right? Because I care just as much as you do about getting these results.
mhm. Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad she found a good coach now. Cough
Yeah,
cough.
I'm working with her now. So
Yeah.
yep, I entered the picture and I was like, let me just take this off your hands. So,
That's cool. I mean, have you had any personal horror stories about like bad communication on your end?
as far as coaching goes,
Yeah.
nothing like yours. Not really. The guy that kind of did me dirty with the contract, he did a pretty good job at communicating, getting back to me pretty quickly.
Mhm.
And then my coach right now, I've never really had a problem with him, like communication wise. Yeah, no,
Yeah, no? Oh, well, that's good then. I'm glad you haven't gone through that yet, so
yet.
sorry, not yet. Well, at all. I'm glad you haven't gone through that at all. But yeah, I think that, and then, I think we can also talk about too, like, the structure of everything, like, how it's done. I think that one's huge. Like, first off, like, how did you sign up, right? Was it through the DMs? Did they send you over an intake form? How is the whole process itself? I think a really big red flag is like, one, you sign up, they send you to like a school or like a WhatsApp group, and then they send over like a meal plan and then or macros, and then like just kind of throw you to the wolves. Like, no, this should be a process where they onboard you. They should bring you through the entire process themselves. And this is also kind of an iffy one too, but you should get coached by the guy that you signed up for.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Because how are you gonna like build a relationship with like say you get sold by somebody right for this coaching, and you build a relationship with this person. They're like, yeah, you're gonna see great results. Like we're gonna get you X Y Z, and then you just get somebody completely else who's the coach, and there's just a big giant disconnect gap there. Yeah,
There
I
has
agree with
to
that.
if it does happen, there has to be some sort of, like, preface on the call, like, this sales call. Like, that person should tell you, like, "Hey, just as a heads up, this is our head coach. He's gonna be coaching you. All those results that you see on the page, that's from him." Right? So, like, at least some credibility towards that, but if it's like, "Oh, yeah, you're gonna be getting X goal, like, this is how everything's gonna go," and then you sign up, you sign the contract, dotted line, and then you meet Joe Schmo on the other end, and he's like, "Hey," and it's like, "Who the hell are you?" It's like, you know? So you should at least get told, like, "Yeah, you're gonna be working with someone else." I think where people go wrong is they don't even bring anything up like that, and then you just Joe Schmo's on the other end, and you're like, "Oh, who's this guy?" You know?
Yep. Yep. So yeah, totally agree there. So
I know you brought up one really good point too a few minutes ago. Well, voice crack a few minutes ago. And that was, I mean, your personal take on influencer coaching, like how to differ from looking at a page and be like, that's an influencer who lost 30 pounds and looks shredded versus like, this is an actual coach who I know is going to take care of me. Like, from your perspective, how would you look at the two different pages? Like, what would be the big shining red lights?
I mean, just like we talked about at the beginning, like posting transformations. Also, I think a good coach too, if you look at their Instagram stories, a good coach should have current clients posting Instagram stories and tagging the coach. I think that's also a really good sign of credibility. And then if you want to go, we've talked about this on previous episodes, but like if you want to go into even more detail, you can look at current clients and message them and be like, hey, yo, how is coach XYZ? How long have you guys been working together? Like, would you recommend him? Or is it more so, are you locked into a contract with him and you just want to get out?
100%. Yeah, I think. I mean, trust me, there's a lot of really good coaches out there, but there's a lot of really bad ones too. And you just have to see how they structure everything. Like, ask them, and like, I don't know, from my perspective at least, like, I'm an open book. Like, if you ask me anything about my business, like, I will tell you, right? Because I'm going to be straight up, upfront, honest. Like, do I do weekly calls? Do I do XYZ? And like, I will tell you up front. I think where people go wrong is like some coaches put up a smoke screen and then they're like, this guy's definitely going to buy. And then you buy in, you sign the contract, the dotted line, and then you're locked in. So just ask the questions beforehand. So you're not like just hit over the head, surprised.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. And then you briefly talked about this, but like, I want to say, like, if somebody doesn't get you, like, if you don't have a call with the coach or a voice note or something, that's probably a little bit of red flag. If they don't even ask you, like, how much you weigh, I'd say that's a little bit of a red flag, or I'd say that's a big red flag. And then just like you talked on this, but just like the overall system, like, they should be able to like, you should have like an onboarding form that you have to fill out. Like there should be a system and a structure. It shouldn't just be like, yeah, like, after we get off this phone call, like, I have this form that you have to fill out and then I'll just text you or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just needs to have a system and structure. Like for me, for example, we hop on a phone call and immediately after the phone call, they get a whole entire like welcome email with a video of me walking through how everything works, right? That I would say is a system and that's a structure, right? So yeah,
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, dude, like, I'm going to hop on a call with you, like, whether you want to or not. Like,
I want to talk
I
to you.
would never, dude, I would never, like, this is like insane. I would never send you a payment link before even talking to you. Even if you're like, hey, I want to do 6 months together, pay you right now. It's like, I want to know who I'm working with first. Like, I don't even know if I want you on the team, to
Yeah,
be completely honest, right?
true.
So it's like, is the coach also kind of picky, I guess, too, in a sense of like who they actually let enter the team? Because my team is like family, and if I feel like you might not be a good fit for the family, like I'll put you in the right direction of someone who can help you. So that's the
Yeah.
way that I always think about it, and I'm pretty sure you do too.
Yeah. And there's also different like specializations too. Like I'm not gonna coach anybody for like a high rocks. I specialize in physique coaching. Two completely different ballparks. Now, if we jump on a call, then you decide that high rocks are some sort of like functional training goal, like that is what you want. Cool. I'm going to recommend you to somebody who's going to suit you better. I'm not going to try to
Yeah.
or like sell you into something that I don't have experience in and I don't specialize in. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
110%. It's like, yeah, I had someone the other day. He's like, "Hey man, have you ever trained someone for?" Yeah, it was High Rocks. Yeah, and I was like, "Yeah, but I don't specialize in it. Like, I'm not gonna throw this into your training program and be like, hey, do this.' It's like, I just don't. It's like not my specialty." And they're like, "Okay, cool. Do you know anyone who specializes in it?" And then I recommended someone who I knew. It was like, it's as easy as that, right? I think where people go wrong is like, dude, you sign up for, say you sign up with a CrossFit coach who you want to do a bodybuilding show and you sign up for with like a CrossFit coach. And it's like, it's like,
CrossFit
all
coach
right,
is going to have no clue what he's doing.
exactly. Yeah. So you gotta do your due diligence too and do your research beforehand. So
Yeah. So, yeah. Ask plenty of questions. Just know like you're allowed to interview your coach. You're allowed to ask why. If they can't answer your questions, that's your answer.
ooh, I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick. Okay.
Okay.
If you
I'm
had to
scared.
ask a coach only 3 questions, what would those 3 questions be before signing up with them?
3 questions.
Put you on the spot.
How do you do your check-ins? Would be one.
Good one. How long does it take you to respond usually?
Yeah. How long is your response time? And
You want to know a really good one?
wait, I have one.
Yeah, what's up?
What would you recommend like a plan? Like what would you recommend like timeline or a goal as for me?
That one's good. I'll give you another one. Do you have a client testimonial who speaks to me? That one's huge.
Ooh,
So
yeah. But
put
a
it
good
this way.
coach, you won't even have to ask that for.
Right. But it's like if you're really trying to like get over that hump, see if they're like really a good fit for you, I'll just be like, hey, do you have like a testimonial or anything of like someone who's kind of like me, right? 20 in their 20s, want to do a bodybuilding show, similar like kind of size and stuff like that. I think that one's gonna be huge because like duh, if they're a bodybuilding coach, they better have a bodybuilding transformation, right? So it's like it's kind of like you should have a lot of those things lined up. I think that one's huge.
Yeah. Well, me too.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, anything else you want to add? I think we pretty much covered everything, all the bullet points.
Yeah, one more thing is I think is accountability. That one's huge. I mean, at the beginning of my career, I was definitely one of those coaches who kind of let like a lot of things slide, but over the years you kind of learn how to not be a drill sergeant in a sense, but like keep people accountable and uphold them to the standard that they should be held at.
Yes. I like to say to my guys, like, I can be mean when I want to. Okay. Let me be, don't, don't make me be mean, bro. Because I will be blunt and I will tell you straight up, you need to get your shit together if you are not.
Right, because like a bad coach is going to tell you like, "Hey, man, yeah, you're totally going to be ready for the show," and then you're 3 weeks out, like fucking 20 pounds up, and you're like, "I don't know if I'm going to make this," and they're like, "Yeah, you dude, you're going to make it," and like they sugarcoat everything until it hits show day or like peak week, and it's like, "Oh wait, we kind of have to push this show back a little bit," I'm sorry, dude, and it's like they weren't honest and upfront before.
Yeah. And I was just talking to somebody about that the other day, actually. Is like, I personally feel like if somebody starts struggling and how do I word this? Like, essentially, like if you're not being hard enough on the client to where they think that they can just get by slacking on things, that makes you not a good coach,
Right.
personally.
Mhm.
Even though you're a super nice person, I'm sure you program everything great. Part of being a coach is being an asshole at times. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of two things, right? It's like one, you're going to be doing a disservice if you don't tell them the truth, right?
Exactly.
That one, and then the other big one is it's like, oh my gosh, what was it? Jeez, you have to as a coach, you have to tell a lot of people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, right? Like people sign up for me because they don't enjoy being on the stairmaster for 30 minutes, right? So like I don't blame them, but they sign up to get amazing results. Same thing with you, right? So it's like, you're going to go through tough times here and it's going to suck, but you didn't sign up for a walk in the park. You sign up to get a kick-ass physique, right? So, I think another big thing is like holding someone accountable and telling them exactly what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Because what they want to hear is you just have to go for a quick 8,000 step a day walk and you can basically eat whatever you want and still lose weight, right? Like that's what you want to hear. What you need to hear is like you need to get your shit together.
Yeah,
That's why you're overweight,
exactly.
you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Yeah, and if you're not saying that as a coach, that's part of your job, man.
yep, yep, no, exactly. Like I had a self check from my last coach, Mark. He one day I don't know why I even said this, but like I was like, dude, my legs are so fucking sore. Like I'm just like beat. He's like, good. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, you're supposed to feel like that. And I'm like, you know what? I am. Like, I'm not really supposed to be feeling the greatest right now. I was 2 weeks out. I was like, dude, I feel like shit. He's like, yeah, but like, do you look good? I'm like, yeah, I actually do look good. So it's like, sometimes you do need that self check from a coach.
Yeah,
So
it's true. So,
even as a coach,
yeah,
but yeah,
cool.
man, I think that was, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that was it. Besides, like, make sure like the problems that you have aren't left unchecked. If you do have a problem, if you plateau, if digestion sucks and your coach is only checking in once a week, like what? Like, bro,
Yeah.
if my guy's struggling, like I'm gonna be up your butt, or I'm gonna find
Yeah.
out a reason why. If I don't know, and there's a lot of things that I don't know. And I think that's the beautiful part about being a coach is like I don't know everything, right? But I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna get you the answers. I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna get you it.
That's a good point. I think that this is like a quote I used to say a lot, but I think that a bad coach acts like they know everything, and a good coach admits they don't know everything, but they will figure out how to solve whatever problem comes their way.
Hmm.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like this analogy my dad taught me when I was growing up playing basketball. He had the basketball, and then he had the spot where like you put the air in. He's like, this whole basketball, this is what you know. And he was talking about the little dot on the basketball. And then this is what you don't know. And it was like the entire basketball. And that was just the analogy that I don't know shit.
I like that.
So it's like, you really just don't. And the moment, like, I forgot, isn't there a saying about that too? It's like, the moment you know nothing is when you know you know nothing.
I know what you're talking about. I've heard it
Know what I
before,
mean?
but I don't remember it.
Yeah. Well, there's a quote out there. So I don't know. I'll find it someday.
Yeah, someday.
But yeah, no, I think that was about it.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, let's wrap this episode up then.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning in again to another episode of the Dialed Podcast. If you guys want to give us a follow on Instagram, the podcast page is at Dialed Show. My Instagram is at Nick McElhenney, NickMcElhinny, and then Ant.
Yep. It's going to be Coach_Beretta, COACH _ BERRETTA.
Yes, sir. Cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning in again. Thank you for the support. We will see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.